Hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Social Convos, back at 9 p.m. Surinamese time. And yeah, we're back with another local guest. Sean-Luc, what are we talking about today and with who?
So this is very fun for me to introduce our guest, because I don't think he knows where I know him from. I mean, our guest, when I was younger, when I was in high school, he was running one of the most popular clubs in Suriname. So that's the one of the first things I remember, that he was actually running um, one of the most popular clubs in Suriname. He's also a very close friend of the King of the Ring, Tyrone Spong. Tyrone Spong is one of uh, Suriname's biggest export products, especially when it comes to fighting, professional fighting. And he's a very close friend as well. And he's actually the one that got me into Cardano. So that's also a very interesting story that we might touch upon later today. And I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people who multitask a lot, have a lot of ventures, really invest in different kind of very diverse portfolio of things they do. But I can say that today's guest is one of the most diverse people I know. Like he can literally talk about any kind of business, and he's had experience in any field. So, without further ado, let's introduce our guest for today, Dave Fanada. Welcome, Dave. How are you, man?
Phew. Your intro is, I'm blushing. Thank you. I'm doing very well, actually. Yeah, I'm living, I'm healthy, and I'm good.
Yeah, you're the first guest to put the full website on the show directly, that whenever anybody is watching this, they know they have to go to the davepodcast.com.
It's
Awesome.
about branding, and
I,
let's help him out a bit. Let's help him out a bit. Here we go, the
I
Dave
can't, I
Podcast.
can't help it that much. I'm a businessman, so everything is. You look
So
at it in a commercial way.
we're
So,
starting immediately with a plug.
wow. Dave, this is the first time I can remember that Diego just went out and shared a website of a guest on screen. So that's
Thank you,
that's
thank you,
that's
thank
that's
you.
already really awesome. Okay, but before we go into the media part, and
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot, and one of the discussions we had was in the past was about punctuality. And
Hmm.
punctuality is not something that's very Surinamese. We like to have in the Dutch they say at Haagskwartiertje, which is we're 15 minutes late, and we translate it in the Surinamese hour. Like if we're
Hmm.
saying we're gonna be around 4, then it's probably an hour after we decided to join in. And you're very punctual, and for
Yes,
business that's very important. So where does that punctuality come from?
the Dutch. I was someone who was always late. I was never on time. I was always half an hour late. And what I know, when I went to Holland, I went there to study. And then, oh, my English, boy. I haven't spoken English in a while. I went to Holland for studies. I didn't do that well, but I worked in Holland. And if you want to work for a company or for a boss, if you're not on time, no excuses. If it rains, if it snows, doesn't matter. You have to be on time. And they have this Dutch saying, like, if you're a man at night, you have to be a man in the morning. So it doesn't matter how much you drink. It doesn't matter how hard you party that night. They would go to work drunk, dead drunk, but they would be on time. And they kind of drilled it into my system. And when I came back to Suriname, I noticed that nobody was on time, especially when I came back in 2003. And for me, time is something that's the only thing that I can't buy, make do anything commercial with it. It's the it, for me. If you come late, you don't respect the most valuable thing that I have, and that's my time. That's how important time is. So, and it starts with that. The person who is on time is going to be on time with um, the deal that you made or the production or whatever. It has to do with your mentality. And I'm always 15 minutes earlier. And if I know that I'm going to be late, I will notify you at least half an hour up front. There's a possibility I might be late. That's how I start. And usually I'm still on time. It's, 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 it's a small sign of showing that you do what you say. If you don't even come on time with the first appointment you make, then you're already not, your word is not bond for me. That is
I
very important.
wholeheartedly agree that this. I had to think of Gandalf saying, "A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to." And if you control this time, you basically control what you want to do, and you know, um,
Yeah.
like a wizard, you could do anything. So I really, really respect that, and I agree with you. We kind of have a lax punctuality here. I myself have been forcing Shanluk kind of with this show to show up on time. So I'm happy to see more
Yeah.
people who are very aware of this. Um, but with that being said, speaking of time, has there ever been a time where, due to some unforeseen circumstances, something happened that you were late or you had a very important meeting? How do you handle such a situation where something out of your control impacts what you do?
Oh no, I must be honest. The more you do, the more mistakes you make when it comes to certain appointments. And what I do is I tell the truth. I don't make up excuses. If I'm late, I'm late. I'm calling you. I'm like, yo, I'm an ass. I'm so sorry. It skipped my mind. Put it on the wrong date. It happens. Um,
So I want to
whatever
dive
time you
into
want to
that
make
one.
for me. Yeah. If
What's
you're
what's
wrong,
the
you're wrong, and stop
craziest
making excuses.
no, what's the craziest reason or the craziest thing that happened to you for you to be late to an appointment? Can you remember that?
Party the night before, boy. I go hard sometimes. No, that
Yeah.
sometimes I meet people while I'm in a social gathering, like we're
Mm.
playing, I don't know, shooting pool or going out or doing whatever. And then somebody gives me a call, and you should not answer a business call actually when you're drinking. And that's when I don't drink anymore, but it happened before, or smoking, whatever. Um, and then sometimes I forget appointments. But if it's a real important, like, how should I put it? Yeah, sometimes I fuck up too. Yeah, that's the most honest answer. We all make mistakes, but just be
Yeah.
honest. Just be honest about it. Oh man, I forgot, or I forgot to put it in my agenda, or whatever. But I don't make up excuses. And
That
Suriname, we
brings
like to
us
make up excuses.
to an interesting topic because so what do you when you look back at since you've been back in Suriname, which is almost 20 years, for
Yeah,
you, is there something that business wise defines who you are? Or is the fact that you've done so much over these past almost 20 years that defines Dave Fanada?
business defines me. Your company or whatever is the best investment I think I ever made is in my brain, and it doesn't matter whatever you build. It's just material things, and you decide how much you hang on to it. Some people are willing to give their life. I am only. I said whatever you do, just make sure you're the best at it. You can be like me. I used to be a garbage man. Just I made sure I was always on time. I delivered the services. I would do anything. You could eat from the floor after I left. It was the simplest job, but I saw potential in it, and that's why I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna be the best at it. And yeah, so and nothing really. All the things I did, I loved it. If you
I,
start
I,
anything, if you don't like what you do, don't even start. I like the
I
journey.
want to quickly, you
Mm.
mentioned there you are a garbage man and you are the best at it. So can
Yeah.
you tell us, because, garbage man or the disposal, it's seen as very, lower class or very
In
dirty.
Suriname, they're the
But
lowest.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen them
Mm.
outside in the Netherlands, in New Zealand, and it's a very respectable job and very well paid
Yeah.
as well.
Mm.
So could you spill some secrets? Could you spill some secrets on or misconceptions on what people have on garbage disposal and the garbage industry in general?
I'm not gonna bring it into. It's just gonna bring everything in general. If you do a test and you will ask somebody, would you have a Mercedes-Benz dealer and earn 200,000 euros a year, or be working at the market selling fish and earn $1 billion a year? 90% wants a Mercedes-Benz outlet. But every job that nobody wants to do, you get better pay. So it's for me, it's very simple. If you have 10 million people in a country and everybody's your client, and you get $1 per day from all those 10 million, you make $10 million a day. So you get
There's a,
very drunk from taking small sips.
there's a running joke, a meme going around in Suriname right now of the teacher telling like, "You better study, or you're gonna mow the lawn,"
Yeah,
and I'm saying like, but the person that mows the lawn now earns more than the teacher. So it's
yeah,
it's it's kind of this story. It's fun. Gregory,
yeah,
in case you don't know the backstory behind Dave, Dave actually he wasn't only a garbage man. He owned a garbage company. So that's a little bit of insight as well. We're getting a good evening, guys, from Jill. Welcome for joining in, and Joel is being confronted with his personal punctuality issues. So for Anil is also joining in. So welcome. And yes, of course, the honest, hardworking garbage man is always worth more than a corrupt, unethical politician. We promised, we didn't make promises, but I don't think we're gonna go into politics just because there's so much we can discuss for today. But
don't
but
put shit in your
how
mouth.
how did you combine doing the garbage business together with hospitality?
Um, so I never think about anything. I just go with my gut feeling, and I have to start from the beginning. I came back to Suriname. A friend of mine called me, let's open up a clothing store because you're not doing anything at school. And I was hustling on the streets. So he's like, it's better if you do just normal business. I didn't do drugs. There's also other things. But anyways, what happened is I came here, but my background is being a door bouncer. I had a Sudanese passport and I wasn't allowed to work in Holland legally. So that's why I was at the door the whole day and I had the worst door. So I knew a lot about clubs, how to keep it safe. And when I came here, I met this guy who has Kings. He's the biggest, and he owns the biggest alcohol selling company. I don't know what the name is, but they sell the most alcohol in Suriname. And I told him I want to open a bar, and he just bought this. I think it was next to you guys, La Bastille. He just bought it. And he said, "I'm gonna tear it
Yeah, he
down in
bought La
2 months."
Bastille.
Yeah, he said, "Bitch up." Yeah, my dogs. Uh, bitch. Yeah. So he's like, I'm going to tear it down in 2 months and you can go and play. I had no experience. So what I did is I went to one of the hottest clubs back then. That was Club Touche. And I looked at who was the best bartender. And I approached him. I told him, I'll pay you double if you help me with my opening. And yeah, so we opened up that night. And while people were ordering drinks, I was practicing. And within 2 weeks, we were the hottest clubs. And life happened, So I never thought about it. I just had belief in that everything will be all right in the end. Because the worst thing that can happen is it goes wrong. So that's how I started, and then I had my clubs and everything. Because after that, I did how to do it. But when I got fucked by my partners, excuse my French, I said I don't want to be in the club business anymore. And then I started to pick up garbage with my station wagon. I took out all the chairs, and 3 years later, I was the biggest in the waste management. At the moment, we are by far the largest. We are the only ones that are allowed to handle waste at the port, for example. Um, and after I made some money with waste management, I already know how to run a restaurant, so it was very easy to open up another one. And that's the garden next to you. But after a while, I couldn't combine it anymore because I started doing theater, cannabis also. So I have a good team. My wife, she supports me in everything. Uh, so I don't know. It just you'll find a way. It's just how you become a father and a mother when you have the child. You just know what to do. If you start, if you started one business, you can start more. Just do your research. That's the most important thing, and just love what you do. And the only difference between you and me is what you believe. It's not what you're capable of. Because if you look at my report cards, those were the worst. I was definitely not the best in school, but I work with my iPhone, and I use it as a personal university. That's everything I want to know. I just Google it. Tutorial, tutorial, tutorial. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? I watch 10, 20 movies. Then I try it. You really have to
Definitely.
dedicate yourself. And
Yeah,
usually I do 10 researches on a daily basis. And then sometimes 5 years you don't even need it. And then something comes onto your path and you're like, hey, now's the time. Yeah, so
you
it's
mentioned
very
quite a bit
easy.
there.
What?
Yeah, you mentioned quite a bit there. And the first thing I want to highlight is you started many businesses. Delved into different industries that seemingly seem unrelated at first, and you've been able to find the link between them to, leverage the benefits in one in another. But then the next question comes to play. In You say you have a great team. Props to
Yeah,
your wife as well. How do you
she's my
form
team.
a team? Or maybe we should get your wife on then. What do you look for in a team? What do you look for in a wife to be able to run so many businesses?
She needs to understand. We need to listen to her. Men need to listen a little bit more to their wives and don't be stubborn. That's the best tip. They're harder when it comes to business. They have a different sixth sense. That's when I have a certain meeting and I want you to meet my wife because I want to know how she feels. Do the hairs on her back stand up when they shake hands? That's enough for a woman to know. So I didn't
Yeah.
know she was listening. I didn't know she was listening.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But you have to be a team, and we have a very male-dominant culture. But um, she wants best for. If your wife sees that you believe in her, she'll be your best support. She will be the one wake you up in the morning. Fucker, get out of bed. You need to go to work. Hey, you have
Yeah.
this meeting at this time. Hey, you have to call him. Hey, you have to do this. Hey, you have to do that. Trust me, the back office is no joke. The whole day, Dave this, Dave this, Dave this. Yeah, don't
Awesome.
underestimate it.
So the people
It's a
want to
full-time
know.
job to also.
The people want to know: is it actually beertje of beertje?
Bear you like a bear.
Beertje, like a teddy
Uh,
bear. Okay. So Jill says,
Bear you come.
uh,
Finish with the seat.
First dog on
Are
the
you serious?
podcast.
yeah, first dog on
Yeah.
the podcast. Yeah,
This is my other one. I have a pit bull fetish.
we should put him in full
Yeah.
screen. So I quickly want to share a story about the garden, and I'm gonna put it out first. When I was studying in Manchester, there was a Sky Bar in Manchester in the Hilton, and one of the things I remembered from that Sky Bar is you would get these nice peanuts and crackers for free when you would arrive at the bar, and then you
Hmm.
would take like four bites out of them, and your mouth would be so dry and you would be so thirsty, and you would immediately order a drink. And when you started with the garden, the first thing I noticed is you had these crackers and these, I think it was krupuk,
Yeah.
spicy krupuk, and you would get free spicy krupuk on every table. And I remembered instantly, like, yeah, this guy knows what's going on. This guy knows how to sell. And I just wanted to share that story with you because this was
Thank
one
you.
of the research things.
Selling something has always has psychology behind it. For example, when you have a bar, know that you're selling an illusion. People are tired of work that day. They're going out. They want to be someone they're not, maybe, or forget about their problems. That's why they drink, or just want to meet people. Because usually when you meet them at the daytime, it's 180. It's definitely a totally different person. But when they come in, I try to sell them that illusion. Is that one time in their life that for you was just a day at work, but till today, I think I have one of the strongest networks because of my club lives. Everybody that came in, if possible, I would have a drink with them. I would try to give them a special a night. So nowadays, when you meet anybody, like, yo, this guy, he helped me one time. Um, when knowing that, then you treat your job in a different manner every day. Okay, you need to appreciate what you do. That is it. So then you come up with ideas because you try to be your own client. What would I like if I would be in my club? Okay. How would I get thirsty? I'm a stingy person. Okay, krupuk. Okay, I'm gonna eat. Okay, now I'm thirsty. So I'm gonna put a krupuk on the table. And you have to read, man. And if you don't like to read, go use audiobooks. I don't like to read. Everything is on audiobooks. Whatever you want to know, whatever you want to know. Just be willing to listen to people you haven't met or anything, but who are very successful. Usually you go to a friend who is as broke as you are. Why do you think I should do this? He doesn't know. He does not know. So look
So,
for people. Let's say you want to be, look for a role model in whatever business you are in, and look at the path they walked and everything. That could be a great help.
but now I want to know how you actually got into crypto because it's a segue. So I'm trying to connect these segues because we're gonna jump into Hennep as well. But first, let's do crypto because how
Okay,
what happened that you got into crypto? Because to tell
it's
you in a front story, just to tell you, I
yeah.
told Diego like, did you know Dave was very happy into crypto? And he was like, wait, what?
Yeah, so what
I
happened
know
is
the younger generation.
Wow.
what happened is years ago when BTC was still about 10 cents, somebody told me about Bitcoin, and I didn't pay attention to it. And then years later, somebody came to Suriname with this dude who wanted to introduce ATMs, the first Bitcoin ATMs back then. I'm talking about 7 years ago. And he told me about Bitcoins and everything. And I went to Hoefdraad. He was the Minister of Finance back then in Suriname. And he told me, Dave, you try to bring Bitcoin to Suriname, I'm going to lock you up for Ponzi schemes. I told him, I don't even want to have this discussion. You're too stupid. So I left. Back then it was $200. He had a USB stick with him with 4,000 Bitcoins on that stick. He was just walking around with it. And then it started to go up, and I started to, check it even more. And at a certain point of time, in a certain point of time, I stepped in, and then I think about 40% of my day I do day trading. That's my biggest obsession. Yeah. So I've been Cardano. I saw the release of Cardano, Ethereum, uh, Litecoin, BNB, all those coins before they launched. I was already in crypto. But the first crash, the real crash for me was in 2017, I think. That's when I took a heavy hit. But now it's going a little bit better. You live and you learn. But I don't talk a lot about what I do is I do trade for people for a certain rate, and my rates are not cheap. Uh, Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. At the moment, I am almost recovered from the last Elon fuckery. I really hate Elon. That single tweet, that single tweet cost me a lot.
Woo!
Yeah,
Woo!
he really fucked the cycle. So I'm
I
really
mean,
not an Elon Musk fan.
for day traders, Elon is like a nightmare.
I,
Yes, yes.
let's hold it right
You
there for a
really
second. So,
because
um,
if sorry when the market drops, your auto sale does not work if it drops too fast. You just miss the
yeah,
auto sell. So I just had to watch the drop happen and just wait. I, I am also a hodler, but day trading gives me the adrenaline I need.
okay. So, from my understanding, you currently actively still day trade, um,
Yeah, man.
right? Okay.
My
First
hands are itching
question.
to check my my accounts. I have neck
First
pains from
question.
watching my phone the whole day.
Yeah, first question. I want to draw some parallels with day trading, and you talked about sales, the psychology behind sales in the bar,
Mm,
and knowing what they want, putting some salted snacks there to uh, awaken the thirst and get people to buy
mm,
drinks. And there's a lot of psychology behind it. But even also in day trading, crypto, there's a lot of market psychology in play. So
yeah,
can you correlate any teachings or insights from psychology in sales and how the market psychology works?
yeah, man. When they say it's gonna pump, it's gonna dump. Trust me.
Oh my god.
buy
Oh, it's
buy the rumor, sell the news. Buy the
Could,
rumor, sell the
rumor sell the
news.
news
could you elaborate on that with an example for us on,
for
let's say,
non
one of the
traders
Elon
and
tweets, for
non, yeah.
example, or the Doge pumps, how you
Doge.
approach one of those situations? Yeah, break it down for us how Dave looked at that
I,
opportunity and dump.
I hate Doge. So when you're a trader, meme coins are the reasons why cryptocurrency is a bit running behind because the good money, the real money is going into shit projects. And I remember buying 1 million Doge for not even $500. And then a friend of mine told me, you're a trader. You can't buy Doge. It's a shit coin. I sold it for $300. I sold it with a loss.
Oh my god. Oh,
So
this
that
is a
one still
brilliant
hurts till,
story.
till this day, till this day.
Yeah,
So that's
and
why I really hate Elon.
I feel
Because the money
guilty.
was not.
I feel guilty for selling off 12,000 Doge for under a cent, or under
No,
1 cent.
no.
God.
I bought it for 0.0000 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So those
man.
really bit my ass.
Yeah.
No, but do your research on any token, especially altcoins that you buy, because you can lose a lot of money in a short period of time. I remember investing $1,400 in a token called Capacity in 2016, and it pumped in 36 hours to $148,000. And they told me to cash it. I'm like, fuck no, this is gonna hit a million within a week, and it went out back down to $600. So day trading, you have a lot. It's start small. Just invest into some tokens that you want to hold for a while, and then start trading small, and then start to learn the technical analysis, the TA, the Fibonacci retracement, the Boilinger. Like you need to know what it's about. When you look at the candles, how many red candles? Is it the A, B, C, D? Is it going to be a is it a bull trap, bear trap? All those things that I'm saying may
Yeah,
sound like
get to
French.
know the language, and it's basically
Yeah,
another
know the no,
language.
it is. But I can tell you this: I learned trading without a degree, and I can do stocks now because of crypto. So what I like about crypto is
It's an
it learns you a
enabler.
lot
It
about
teaches you.
finance. No, also you can learn a lot about finance and investing, and you have your own power. And if you do it wrong, you have only yourself to blame.
Exactly,
So
that
yeah.
ownership. There's one more
So
thing I want to ask about your
mm,
experience. So you say you've spent, let's say, 40%. You're consistently on a daily basis, actively busy, reading charts, looking at the news, seeing what happens on your phone. How
yeah.
long did it take you being this committed on a daily basis to be consistently, you always have losses and wins, but
Mm.
consistently over a few month period, start getting profitable from a pure
I,
day
I
trading
only
approach?
I only trade during certain. I wait for the bull run. I didn't trade for 2 years. You have to wait. And then when new bull run started last November, October, I already stepped in immediately because and then within a week I was back up to speed. Yeah, it's you have to enjoy it. It's not like I'm like, oh my God, he has to work 20%. I'm just I love to watch the screen. For me, it's like a video game. I love it. I just like to see the numbers and everything because I don't watch YouTube movies videos that much or news. I look at graphs and I look at um, how do you say it? The nature of the coin, the beast. How does it move? Does one go 20% up, 20% down? So when it's down 20%, I'm buy a bit of those. So you have to get to know your tokens because nobody taught me. So all I did for maybe a month is just watch the screen, just look at the numbers, how everything moves, and then started to try to figure out. Okay, that was different last time, and that was different yesterday. So maybe, oh, okay. That's how I started. I just watched the screen and I said, I know I'm going to learn something from this. Just watching it,
It's really
and
interesting because
after a couple of
there is
years, yeah,
repetition. I mean, you can see
yeah,
repetition, and that makes it. But
yeah,
of course, like it's not the same all the time, exactly the same all the time. So and that's also, and then you get people like Elon who kind of short or long something for no specific reason, and it's like it completely. Well, I mean, and we should put a disclaimer in because when we talk about crypto, often when people talk about crypto, it's like you can only win, but you only hear people
no, no,
talking
no, no,
about
no, no.
you will only hear, especially like on YouTube, you only hear the people talking about what they gained, but they don't talk about their losses. And I think that's really, it's funny because like when peak Elon, right before he went on to Saturday Night Live, when everybody was like, yeah, he's going to on Saturday Night Live and it's gonna be amazing. Right before there, I was kind of, I had cashed out a little bit
Mm,
because I wanted to have things free for if the 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 downfall came, I was ready to buy again. And I was like, I guilt tripped myself into, let's try a couple of alts that haven't jumped yet.
yeah,
And when I went to Binance to get those alts, all of a sudden a disclaimer popped up. And I've never seen that disclaimer in my life because I usually don't trade these kind of altcoins. I rather stay in Ethereum or
yeah.
Hive or things that I'm familiar with. And all of a sudden, Binance gave me this like, are you sure this is really high risk? You probably shouldn't do this. And I was like, why does Binance do that? I mean, like, I'm in it for myself. I'm reading the white papers,
Yeah,
so I know the risk. And yes, those completely tanked up till now. So it's
yeah.
funny that that even Binance like exchange is like putting a warning like you're about to attempt a coin that we kind of are like we don't know about. So are you
Yeah.
sure? And I was like, yeah, of course, I'm sure. And then um, it's not worth anything. It's like worth a fourth of when I bought it right now.
Look, you know art finance? It's a art finance. I don't know. It's some token I bought. It was the second. It was the biggest hype. I think about a month ago. It went from the $1,000 I put into it into $52. So yeah, you can lose a lot. Or if you type in the wrong number, I lost 0.6 BTC one time filling in the wrong number. So yeah, crypto. If you don't have, if you don't wear a diaper, don't even start. You know, don't even just buy some and just keep it for the next 20 years because I ain't touching my crypto until I'm older. It's way too young to start your crypto to touch anything. Projects like Cardano, that's a no-brainer. Ethereum, I'm not really that much on Ethereum. It's been there for way too long, way too much money is in it, still is not performing the way I'm hoping. XRP, that's a killer right there. Those are sure shots. And the almighty Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is losing its dominance finally. So now people are going to look at projects. So yeah. But
Last question
but
though,
those
for
did
my side, and
those
then
did
Diego also has a
th-
question.
but
Yeah.
those taught me one thing. I'm gonna buy a little bit of Shiba Inu because
Not right
just
now.
to
Not
make
right now.
Oh,
just to make
We,
sure.
I
I
think
did buy
on
some
that.
Shiba.
I think on that we're synchronized.
yeah. So,
Okay, what did you
so
want to
quickly,
ask?
yeah. Do you
Yeah,
also have you looked into the NFT market,
yeah,
the NFTs?
I love NFT. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a
NFT
NFT
is
project
art.
you would which you would
Uh,
shill? Well, collectibles. Yeah.
NFT, Aerde,
Okay.
de graph. Non-fungible tokens moet je kijken naar die engine. Engine is it. Engine is a good one. ANJ.
Engine.
That's a strong boy.
Okay.
Yeah. Engine is een hele sterke. Volgens mij ook een van de eerste.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to go
En
into one of their projects, but I didn't get into the sale. I was in the line.
ja,
40,000 people
ja,
were in front of me in that line.
ja, NFT. Maar voor mij is ook NFT Art Finance. Van 1050 gegaan. Dus ja. Oh, sorry. I was speaking Dutch. Yeah, so it went from 1,000 to. Before you buy any, make sure you follow that token for at least a month. Or just go on a good
That's
tip.
that's a
Or just go on a
that's a
good
great
tip.
tip. That's a great
Yeah.
tip. When you go into a token, follow the token at least for a month and like really follow it.
Yeah. Get to know the
Yeah.
token. I have a favorites list. It's pretty long. The more experienced you are, the more you know about certain tokens. Sometimes I don't even know if I have Zilliqa anymore or VeChain. Just giving you some tips. Yeah. So I know, and after I'm like, hey, these didn't make any runs for a while, and then you know because I know how they move. But after Elon, trading really took a fucked up turn. And I'm almost recovered from the Elon thingy. So when everything goes up again, I'm gonna be happy because now it's accumulation time. Try to make as much, take as many tokens as possible. I think we can experience a small dip today till maybe 42, 40. I hope you already hit bottom at 44.3. I think I'm speaking way too
Yeah,
much
that's
into
some
the numbers.
technical analysis. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have to ask the okay,
Mhm.
Sean-Luc is a Hive guy. I'm an Ethereum guy.
Yeah,
So I have to ask the Ethereum question. You
yeah,
said Cardano is a no-brainer. Cardano is one of the, I guess, competitors of Ethereum, kind of trying to cover the same space. You said you haven't looked into Ethereum that much compared to the others. But
yeah.
Engine, for example, was built on Ethereum, and then they spun off
Yep.
their own chain as well, and they're very focused on gaming as well. That's why it's very interesting for me. Because if you combine the gaming industry with monetization, with non-fungible tokens, with collectibles, there's opportunity there. At least that's what I see. So
Yeah, but I look at money. Yeah,
my question to you is, why is Ethereum not high on your radar, or as you said, looking at money from a monetary standpoint?
it
But
has
then
had its run
also, if you
already.
could enlighten us on the more fundamentals and the spin-off projects that can roll out of Ethereum.
Okay, Cardano was faster. Ethereum has always been late when it comes to delivering their projects, and that's something that really annoys me if you're not punctual. They're always moving it ahead the schedule, blah blah blah. It's always late. I mean, the launch is never on time. And like I said, they've been in it too long. They should have really upped their game a long time ago. And it doesn't matter if you build it on the Ethereum network. In the future, they will make some change into the codes that they can use it for other networks also. They're already doing that. So, but from a business point, Cardano, $2.05 at the moment. Um, Ethereum, I think, is around $3,000. Yeah, I'd rather buy 1,000 Cardano and wait because the Ethereum I've seen Ethereum at $5. For me, the Ethereum run, the real run, if I want to make, if I just want to double up, then I would buy Nike stocks or whatever. When I do crypto, I want the 20x, the 50x, the 100x, or else I'm not even starting. And for Ethereum, how much do you
So
want to pay
does
for one
that
Ethereum?
same
50,000.
logic not apply to Bitcoin as well?
Yeah, I'm not into Bitcoin anymore either. Even if it goes to 100,000, you only 2x. You only 2x. But if you go into audience and it goes from $1 to $8, you 8x. So for me, it's just looking at business possibilities, and it's very simple. I, 10,000 people are willing to invest $20 into Cardano because then they can say I have 10 Cardanos. How many people are willing to buy $10 worth of Ethereum and say I have 0.0000000 worth of Ethereum? It's just a mental fuckery,
And you
right?
lose everything from the gas on the gas fees.
Yeah, there are gas fees.
Precise,
No, that
precisely. So
is
for
clear.
me, looking at the
Definitely.
monetary thingy, um, I would bet more on Cardano or Dot. Uni is a good one also. But enough crypto because I would speak
No,
till tomorrow.
we're talking. People are happy about the free masterclass, so that's a good thing. But I do agree. I mean, I do want to say, if Diego, for gaming, if you're not into Splinterlands yet, you
I
know.
I already started. Let's have a match after this podcast.
Okay, okay, good. Because oh my god,
Yeah.
that freaking exploded the last week. But okay, so let's make another crazy jump, and let's
Hmm.
go from crypto to industrial hemp, because that's
Cannabis.
also cannabis. So
Yeah.
that's also something a lot of people don't understand, and especially there has been a certain conception about cannabis, and of
Yeah.
course for the commercial use, and you've focused on the medical side of it, and you're one of the first people in Suriname actually to grow,
No, the
professionally grow,
legally,
yeah,
legally the first. Yeah,
legally the
by far.
first in
Yeah.
Suriname to legally grow medical marijuana. Or no, is it marijuana?
Both. I have both.
Yeah,
I have medicinal and industrial. The
industrial. Okay.
permits. Yeah.
So how did that switch come?
Um, I am in I was in the recycling business back then when I had the waste oil recycling company. We had to close that down because the river, it's not enough. How do you say it? It closed because of too much sand in the river. They never cleared it, so we had to close that company. But anyways, we used to recycle waste oil, and hemp is one of the best cleaners of toxic toxic waste and whatever in the soil. Hemp is you can take mercury out. Look at Chernobyl. Chernobyl, to get out the radiation, they're using hemp. You're just planting hemp, and hemp removes the radiation out of nature. Also, it pulls out the radiation inside the a plant. It's just a filter. It's a natural filter, hemp, and it's a very strong plant. And that's how I kind of got to know hemp. But I have been a cannabis smoker for 21 years. So, and I used to be a migraine patient, and I haven't had a migraine in 20 years. So for me, I already knew the benefits of weed. So it was a no-brainer when I saw that globally people were starting to accept it. I jumped on the bandwagon immediately because I experienced the benefits of it myself. So that was a no-brainer for me. And I have a Surinamese passport, and in Holland I wasn't allowed to work. So if my plants didn't grow well, I didn't eat that much. So I got my master class when I was a student, and when I saw that people are finally opening up, uh, everything that God has put on this earth is to benefit the organisms that live here, and weed is one of the best medicines that we have, and it's too bad that we have this perception about it. So the moment I had my chance, I went openly about it. It did have some effects. People see him as this drug dealer or whatever, gangster, halal. But anyways, it did give me a certain type of freedom after. I really don't give two shits what people think of me anymore. So before I was this corporate dude in the oil and gas industry, but after I went open about the hemp, I was treated differently also. So I'm like, oh, that's how you think? Well, then fuck you too. Excuse my French.
So what's
Yeah.
the biggest misconception that people have?
The thing is, lack of knowledge. The thing is, they made movies like Cheech and Chong's where they take a joint and then they smoke like ah, ah. So when they get a chance to smoke the first time, they mimic that stupid shit. And if you and I go into a bar and we buy just one jogo, 1 liter of beer, and we sip it the whole day, you won't even get drunk. But I give you that jogo and you hit it in one time, a shot, the whole liter, you will be dead drunk. You will be sick instantaneously. So, but now people know don't do that with alcohol. And so with weed, lack of knowledge, if you know how to smoke your joint, you won't even be that high. You can medicate yourself, but you have to be disciplined. And people abuse it a lot in the wrong way. Uh, but I've never heard of anybody getting into a car accident for high driving, for being too stoned. You don't speed, you drive 2 miles an hour. I never heard of anybody going out and looking for trouble when he's stoned. He's like, bro, cool. Wait, there's so many misconceptions uh, about weed. I don't even know where to start.
Could could you maybe start with describing what actually happens in your mind? What do you see? What do you feel? And at what point should you recognize the tipping point at it being too much?
Okay, the first time. I don't know how to explain. I don't know. It's like drinking 2 glasses of wine. You feel mellow. You feel great. And that's when you do a good dose. But I don't really want to explain it that much in a positive way because I don't want to be promoting that people start smoking weed because that's not what I'm about. That's my personal choice. For me, I want to make medicine out of it so that people who have cancer don't have to use those stupid pills because usually they die from stomach problems and kidney problems because of those pills. It's usually it's not the cancer that kills them. It's the, it's, the, it's what they're using to get rid of cancer that kills the people. It's very toxic. So that's what I really want to promote. I don't want to. I'll tell you in private one time, but I don't want to. How do you say it?
You don't
Make
want to
some
do a
rage.
sales pitch here. I
Yeah.
I
No. No. No.
I,
No.
I do want to say,
No.
like, I mean, there are different juices, like for CDB oil as well. Like if you're
Mhm.
somebody who's nervous often, and it's like gets these panic attacks and those kind of things. So they're like different juices, and they, of course, I think they also work differently on different people. So
Yeah.
it's not that you can say like, okay, you use this and it works for everybody. So I do
No.
understand, but it's good for people to know that there's a medical side behind it as well. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, my movies watching when I grew up, yeah, I watched Blow, I watched American Gangster. Yeah, it's that kind of stereotypical thing that
Yeah.
gets into it. Narcos, another great example.
Mm.
On Netflix. So these
I,
kind of
sorry,
they kind of
I'm
tell a
happy.
certain narrative.
I'm happy you said that. Do you know why it was like that? It was because it was illegal back then. So now it's just a normal company, like a Coca-Cola company. Even Coca-Cola is into the cannabis. We're the ones who are sleeping. Marlboro is into it. Then who are we to say that the same people who made it illegal are the ones earning billions at the moment? The Dutch never made it illegal. They did their studies. They did their studies. De jongen, let's do, ja, ik wil niet Nederlands wat zeggen, but anyways, they did their studies. There's a reason for it. So, but actually, to be honest, I stopped in the cannabis industry. I quit about a month ago. Uh, I never quit. I decided to stop because I'm really fed up with politics. And I've never been in a business that has so much to do with politics. And I never want to be in a business that has to do with politics again. Way too many sharks in the water, way too many liars. Um, yeah. And I don't tell me what to do when it comes to business because I know my business when it comes to cannabis, especially. And they're doing a lot of things that's gonna cost a lot of people a lot of money in the end in Suriname. The laws that they are trying to force at the moment are ones that cannot be applicable because the sun is gonna fuck up the THC levels and we're gonna have a lot of problems when it comes to staying under the zero point 0.3. It's never gonna work. But that's a whole different story. I'm not gonna teach people anymore that don't want to listen. Let them experience it themselves. They don't want to listen to the mistakes I made, so whatever.
So speaking of moving out of, I guess, not having to deal with politics, all those, behind the scenes stuff that needs to happen, you've also, as you mentioned before, you've been into theater, into acting, and into media. So
Mm.
this is another part where you're kind of more in the forefront. Um, as a individual, as a brand, and you recently started a podcast. Could you walk us through that journey of exploring this industry, in particular the media industry, and what
Mm-hmm.
intrigued you in trying something there or doing something in that space?
Uh, what I noticed that during my cannabis venture, um, I noticed a lot of people could not understand what I was saying. And if you want to reach certain heights as a country, you need to bring your people with you to that point mentally. Because all you get is people who have no knowledge and they speak as if they know. They don't know shit. So with the podcast, I'm trying to educate people and just speak my mind. And you don't have to be. You can think I am saying bullshit, but I will make you think about shit, and that's important. Let it work. Let it work. Let it work. That's important. And I needed to vent. That's why I started the podcast because I saw that there's a lot of people who need to vent who have a good brain and they're not being heard. And that's why that's how it started actually. And we just had the Jürgen Reimann also, and there's a lot of nice surprises coming to my podcast. But also, I'm gonna have people who were in jail. I want to speak to people who are on drugs. I want to speak to people who are mentally ill because we always hear it from somebody who has observed them. No, let the person themselves tell you how it's like, what it's like. Let them tell you the real nitty gritty of everything. Because nowadays, when I see a politician, I see a liar, a cheat, a charlatan. Oh, I can go on. It's nothing positive. When I grew up, when you were a minister, you were this respectable person. Now to me, you're a cockroach because everything that comes out of your mouth is a fucking lie. So, with this podcast, um, it's also a platform for people to just openly express their feelings, openly, not censored. I don't want sponsors because nobody's allowed to be censored in my podcast. Talk about whatever you want. It has to be from your heart. If it's wrong, if you made a mistake, then just be honest about it also. That's because I believe that when you discuss everything, that's when you can handle your business. Because how should I put it? If they keep lying to us about what the real situation is in Suriname, you can never help to develop this country because you're trying to fix a lie. But if you actually tell us what it is, like he's a gangster, he's a drug dealer, he is this, okay, then we know, okay, this shit's not gonna work. Let's do it this way and blah blah blah. Snap, yeah, this, and that's what the podcast is about. And everything has to
I'm
be positive because I don't watch news anymore. I don't read the papers. It's always negative, negative, negative. So everybody that comes, I always say in the end, how do you want to fix this? How do you think we can fix this? How do you think we can fix this? I want people to start thinking more, and that's why I'm starting a children's book. But we'll talk about that in the end.
I'm getting some, and Diego, you're gonna laugh about this because well, laugh. You're gonna find it interesting. I'm getting. If I look at the Dave podcast, it has the Joe Rogan potential
I was
for
about to
Suriname.
say, you're about
Yeah,
to say that.
I mean, there are some similarities. I mean, the hairstyle, the being into MMA, but just
Bouncer.
but it's yeah, the bouncer, the being a host on a TV show. I mean, Dave, what Dave didn't mention is he also had his own shows in Talia in our theater, in our national
Yeah,
theater, and he sold them out. So
yeah,
as
yeah.
a director
15,000
and
tickets.
13 tickets and as an actor as
Yeah,
well. So, but I feel like, and Anil is mentioning it as well, and we have some shout outs as well from Meneer Bezig. And Anil is also mentioning it's very, very straight to the point, and that's
thank
also
you.
something that we don't have enough of. So,
I'm
and
telling you, when you're straight to the point, you win so much time in a day if you have the guts to say no. Do you know how much better your day is when somebody asks you, "Can you help me?" and you just say, "No, I'm busy." Instead of
yeah,
"Okay," just say no because they will respect it. No, I really don't want to help you at this moment because maybe I have to do this, this, this. Or I'm just tired or I'm stoned. I really no. And the next time, like, yo, I can help you. Do you need my help? Just be straightforward. It's you have no idea how much release you will have on a daily basis just being straightforward. It's so we make life difficult. If you tell the truth, be straightforward and just tell it like it is. Just do normal. We make shit difficult, you know. So be straightforward. You can get a lot more out of it because
so
if people don't forget what you say, then yeah. Uh,
we have to quickly jump into this because
mm.
how is this how is this related to Sick Society, for instance? Like I mean, of course there's kind of
Sex
the
society.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
I
yeah,
was I
so
was
give us a
playing
little
in
bit of the
another.
scoop. Yeah.
No, so what happened is I was playing a play called Between Men about women, and that was a nice success. But I was there as an actor. But what was bothering me as an actor is that I never got enough uh, playtime because there were not enough productions. And I asked the people like, why are there no more productions? And they said nobody's a writer. I'm like, oh fuck it then. Then I took the script from the one I played and I mimicked the build-up of it. Like how many pages, how does she write this? Just I just watched how she did it. What does it look like? And I just started writing and I just sat and I'm like, I'm in a room and okay, this woman comes in. Okay, then the lady comes inside. She says hi, hi, and then you have this whole conversation and whatever comes in your mind, you just write it down. And in the end, I wrote what I saw in humanity. I mirrored it. Like people like to wear nice suits and act as if they're important, but they beat their wife the whole day in the house. So they're fooling themselves. Then I'd rather respect the garbage man who gives his wife a fire lobby every day. So those are the things I pay to put into it because there's so much fake shit. Everything I'm putting out right now is I'm tired of the BS. My generation grew up with only lies, 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 lies. And I think that we can make a positive turn by just telling it like it is. That's how you start. It's a mentality thing that we need to fix. So yeah, that's how sick
I
society
think
came.
it's interesting because I, from a technical perspective, I also want to quickly jump into this because there is some backstory, but also some previous experience that helped in the screenplay as well.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of projects like 18 plus TV, but also other media productions and things you were involved in or took a lead in, which actually, and I think that's a little bit underestimated as well. Just like you said, like it's an obsession. You focus on something, you become good at it,
Hmm.
you research it, you find more information, and you practice and you practice, even if it's a practice that other people don't get to see, but you're invested and you put your time into it. And I think
Hmm.
that's something that you personify as well, that if you really go for something, but I mean like really, and that's where the
Yeah.
fake thing comes in. You just don't act like, so it's not like you're looking for recognition, and that's a very
No, 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 no.
interesting thing because
The thing
one of
is,
the things that,
sorry.
yeah,
Hmm.
one of the
Next
things that
time.
I come across very often is people want to get the recognition before they have put in the work.
You,
And
but you can keep the
that's the,
recognition.
yeah.
Ego is ego is your biggest blockage. I have also experienced a big ego in the past, so you need to experience it and then see what the benefit of it is not to have any or a smaller ego. I have principles. It's a difference. But when you do something well, you it comes by itself. When you do something well, the money will come by itself. The recognition will come by itself. It doesn't matter who starts a hemp business right now or whatever has to do with cannabis. In the end, they're gonna be like, yeah, Dave started it, and you guys fucked him. You took away his dream or whatever. But anyways, everybody, you put in the work. You have to put in the work, but don't let that be your drive. Do it because you love it. And you can learn to love something because it's like a video game, just like Rayman said. The better you get at it, the more you like the game. And it's the same with work. So yeah, I can be a fanatic when it comes. I used to I used to make diesel out of waste oil, and I flew to China just to taste, to learn it. And when I came back, I noticed that they tricked me in nice words. But anyways, so I was still I wanted to find formula for the local oil that we had. I think I was in my garage for 4 months, from morning till night, mixing, 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 mixing. I found that baby. So you don't fail in nothing. It's a learning lesson. You learn, you learn, you learn, you learn, you learn. It's failing when you keep doing the same thing every time. If you keep doing the same thing in the same way, you keep having the same results.
And we lost him at the end there. Can you check with Dave
Yes, I'm
on
gonna check
WhatsApp?
with Dave to get him
Um,
back. Do you want to do a quick recap or go
yeah, no,
into the
I'll quickly go through some comments if any have been um, added. Uh, we have some here from Meneer Bezig agrees. Uh, Still waiting on that call, Meneer Bezig. And we have Soraya Buset says it's a mind shift that needs to occur, a cultural shift, definitely. And it's the norms and values are what drive a moral society. Agreed. But then I ask this question to you guys in the audience now. What would, you can put it in the comments or send it in later if you're listening. What would need to change, or for you, what would you want to see, or what would you have to do to bring this culture shift? maybe even to bring it more narrow, what do you do for yourself to help develop and go in the cultural cultural direction that you want to go into, and live up to the norms and values that that are not instilled by society, but that you want to push throughout to society? Yeah, for you yourself, what are you doing right now to facilitate that development as people think about this?
So Diego, I have
Yeah,
to ask you a question now. Um,
sure.
if you look back at if you quickly look at back at your decision not to go into corporate ever, do you remember or recall the exact moment when you realized that you didn't want to do things by the traditional book, to say?
Yeah, I clearly remember that moment. It was the moment I had to do my graduation, my thesis for my bachelor's at the university, and I applied at, I'm gonna call this company's name, Delisir, and they there was this whole bureaucratic process that had to go through, and I even had recommendations from the lecturers, right? And they still denied it, and that's at the moment I said, screw it, give them the finger, look for my own project, and that's where it started. That was one clearly
Okay.
defining moment.
Okay. Dave's back, so we're gonna put him back in. Can you hear us, Dave?
Ah, sorry. Battery dead, no?
Yes.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are we talking about again?
Yeah, we were basically keeping the show going as you were returning, but you were explaining on what was it again? The cultural shift in the society and
Yeah,
the thinking
uh,
uh,
it's
on how
important that
to
we start in a
bring that.
different
Yeah,
way. Yeah, if you do the same things, you always reach the same results. And we're not being successful as a country for a while, so let's do everything different. I'm telling you that. So that's why we started I started the podcast, and people need to learn. It's different to listen an hour to something, but it's a form of education, and that's why I try to bring in people who have a different perspective of things. And very shortly, I will be launching my first children's book. It's like Dora the Explorer, but a Surinamese style about the environment. It's called The Adventures of Bolly the Otter, and it's all about Suriname, and it's something that you guys are going to be proud of. I can tell you that. Yeah, that's
So
my baby.
let's dive a little bit into that,
Uh-huh.
because and then of course, I mean, writing a book after you have already written a screenplay,
Uh-huh.
there's kind of a connection there. But
Yeah,
how what was the inspiration to write the book? Hello.
I see you, Bill.
Oh, sorry. Ik wilde die
She, was-
charger voor
she wanted to
zetten.
put the charger for me on my phone. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
what
okay.
was the inspiration for the book?
I noticed that we haven't had any educational books in Suriname for the longest. And I grew up with Anansi, and without even knowing it, they teach you stuff. But back then, they thought that when you were young, you only know Gugu Gaga. And then you would speak Gugu Gaga till you are 5 years old and then start to develop your brain. I spoke to my child like a grown up ever since she was very small, and she could speak to you as a grown up since she was 5. So that's why in this book, we need to up the educational level, I think, and I don't expect the government to do it. And this is going to be my 2 cents. It's not going to be like a history book or a biology book, but it's going to be information in general, and it's authors mirroring humans. And small example, they ask he asks a bird who is his friend. It's a children's book. Why do they want gold? because they cannot consume it. It's not edible. And the Ara says, I don't know, but while trying to find the gold, they do kill everything and break everything and destroy everything that you can consume, that you can use, that everything that lives, just to obtain something that you cannot even eat. So those are small messages that I have in the book. So playfully, you trigger their brain.
I want to tie everything together as we close this off in a bit. And I've listened to your story, and you've transitioned. Actually, looking back to what you said, everything you've done
Mhm.
has been a result of something you've been in before, and you've brought that knowledge over into a new industry, like from the oil to the hemp, and then the hemp you had the politics, and then that comes to media and knowledge, and showing how things are, and that this translating then into, okay, we need to educate the old ones, are too
Yeah.
stubborn, so we'll start with the children, and that's where the book comes into play. And your
Yes.
experience as a writer for a screenplay comes into play into writing this book. So actually everything has been interconnected from the start.
Always.
And this is very interesting, especially for people listening, wondering still what they want to do, what they need to do, looking like, oh, maybe I want to work for that corporate company, or I want to start a creative industry. What I've noticed as a trend that's been I've seen from a lot of successful people, or people who've kind of, you'd consider be successful, they've
Thank you.
gone this corporate route, they're become suddenly unhappy, they try some things for their own, eventually they end up in the creator space, into doing something for
Yeah.
themselves, the self-fulfillment skills. And
Yeah.
usually it ends up into writing a book, or um, synthesizing that knowledge on paper into for others to learn. So you have this full circle cycle of life, as
Yeah.
I'll call it. And it seems you're at that stage now. So my last question to you is, for the younger people going through this process,
Mhm.
and the cliche answer would be, trust the process, keep doing what you're doing. What practical, other practical secret Dave answer would you give them to, if they would ask you, how
Don't
do
be
I
afraid.
start?
Don't be afraid to cry, man. Don't be afraid to cry if you do business. Just don't. Just let the tears come out. It's pain leaving the body. Let go of the stress. No. Um. It's really trust the process. I cannot explain it. How should I put it? If I look at my life, if I look back at it, now I see that everything is a puzzle. But while you're, and still I'm developing. I keep developing myself. I never try to stay in one place. But the only way, yeah, it also comes down to love what you're doing, or else you cannot trust the process. You have to be honest to yourself. That's the most important thing, I think, because people are like, yes, I'm visualizing, but if you wake up every morning, you don't like what you do. If you wake up every morning and you don't want to go to work, if you wake up every morning and you don't do it, it's not success. It's an illusion. So I think self-reflection is one of the most important things. Do I love what I'm doing? Yes, I'm making money. It's a piece of paper. It will not hug you at night. It will not keep you warm. And especially when you're hungry, you cannot eat a stack of dollars. So be realistic. Money is a means to an end. You need it to get somewhere or to purchase something. And I think that why a lot of people who are financially successful change into maybe spiritual people, or write a book or whatever, is because I also grew up with that illusion. And if somebody, I knew successful people, and they're like, Dave, that Rolex is gonna be just another watch. I'm like, no, I need my $10,000 watch and blah blah. And now I don't even wear a watch. So um success is also what do you see as success. But if you work for a number, that was my biggest mistake. Your next goal is going to be a higher number, a higher number, a higher number. You will never even have a single inch of fulfillment feeling. I don't know how to put it, but when I wrote this book, I think out of everything I've ever done, I've not even published it. My daughter loves it, and that's it has a more fulfilling feeling, and it sounds really loopy, but because of the route I had in my life, I know that some people are just so poor that the only thing they have is a lot of money. I know guys who are so rich, they're so lonely. There's 1,000 people around them the whole day, and they're so lonely. Because I'm a straightforward type of guy, they have those talks with me. So yeah. And as a barman, you become a psychologist because everybody who's drunk always has problems, and they talk to you day in, day and night. So you learn a lot from the bar business. So yeah, you sure your strength.
That's a good insight. That's a really really good insight, and that's the reason why, if there's something you love to do, it's worth doing, because you don't know beforehand what's the experience you're gonna gain from doing that thing.
Meh.
And that's a really beautiful thing of taking the example of being a barman, owning a bar, and speaking to drunk people and stuff that they tell you. I mean,
That's the
it's like
information.
it's the best information you can get, because it's clear, it's unfiltered, it just
A
gives
drunk
you
person
like
don't lie. They don't lie. So that's why when they came in my body, would tell me all their ins and outs and the business developments and secrets, and the guy may be cheating on his wife, everything. But drunk people don't tell no tale. So I would really listen. People never listen to drunk people. I would listen to what they have to say, because that's when they pour their heart out, because we have a big ego. So men in Suriname, we don't like to cry or show that we're weak. I cry. Fuck. That helps. It's pain leaving the body. But self-reflection, because like I said, if you do not like what you're doing, I've had companies, and after 4 years, and I'm like, really, somebody just please buy it or just close it. It's bringing in money. I don't even like the personnel working there. Then you know what I mean. So don't even bother, man. Why would you want to be unhappy every day just to say that you have money? That's so to 2020, man. After COVID, you can have $1 billion and still you're in lockdown. So wake up. Wake up.
oh,
We're
these are
destroying everything that we already got for free. We got food, water, sunlight, air, and we're polluting the water, fucking up the sun, the food, the water, the trees. It was all there for free. One day somebody put a fence. You cannot walk here. It was put for all of us to enjoy. So I'm way past making money. I don't. I'm in a different state of mind. When you have higher goals, then Mother Nature will send more than enough abundance towards me, towards the person, and that can be in money or just people. I think I've been in the VIP section for at least 10 years now at parties. I haven't paid one VIP card for 10 years. Still, Mother Nature made sure that I was there. Money is just a means to an end, and sometimes Mother Nature gives you another way to reach certain goals. So success, don't look for the number, man. For fulfillment, for yeah, that's success for me.
Awesome. I think that's a very good place or a good note to end it on, unless Chanduk has anything else to add.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Aside from, because the Dave the podcast the davepodcast.com has left, but you've seen it for at least an hour. So,
Okay.
Dave, if people want to reach out to you, if people want to connect with you, where can they best reach out or connect with you on social?
Send me
In
a
the
text.
bar.
No. I don't go. I really don't go out that much anymore. I think I went clubbing 1,000 times too many. So now I enjoy sitting under my lemon tree, with a Buddha statue and plastic chairs, a beer and a joint. I'm good. And some good friends, some good company. No, but send me a Facebook text. I always answer. No bullshit, please. Because then I give you a bullshit answer also. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, really? Seriously? You can ask me anything, but just, um, I'm happily married. I want to keep it that way. So it's about a business opportunity or whatever. Then okay, but if you come, then step correct. Don't come. I have an idea. No. Okay, you've had an idea. Let me see it on paper. No, I cannot show it to anybody to you. Then don't call me because you're wasting my time. If you don't trust me, don't even bother to call me because I'm not gonna give you information just because what you want to do business. Don't expect anything for free. Get that illusion out of your head. Somebody already asked me one time, yeah, why don't you want to help me, assist me, pick me under your shoulder, put me under your wing? I'm like, you want me to put you under your wing to make money, right? He's like, yeah, well, I'm a businessman too. I would be teaching you the wrong lesson if I would help you for free. That's the wrong lesson right there. No, but you can always ask for advice, but do your homework. Every question you want to ask me, you can ask online, Google. That's my best friend right there when it comes to knowledge. I'm a Googleist, PhD. All the knowledge is out there. It's the best time in life to know anything.
Awesome. You heard the man. Don't DM bullshit in Facebook, but that's where you can reach him. And make Google Big Brother your best friend.
I believe it. You bent a cyborg, brother. You have alles. You have alles.
So Diego, first of all, Dave,
Yeah, it's
thank
like
you so
Matrix.
much
You look
for
that's you don't even have to remember it.
sharing this
Mm.
information with us. It was very insightful. Diego, a little bit about the podcast. Where can they find the audio file, the final version, and everything?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. You can find the Dave Podcast as thedavepodcast.com. First plugging for Dave, and then for our podcast, if you've for the Confoes podcast, Social Confoes, if you missed it or tuned in late or have someone who thinks this will be an interesting conversation for them to listen to, the audio version will be released on Saturday on all podcasting platforms, including the website. Look forward to that. And we'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Social Confoes. If you guys have any feedback, feel free to drop it in the comments on one of our page socials. And Jean-Luc, with that being said, roll us out. You're muted.
Thanks, Diego. So, for everybody that has been watching live, for everybody that's listening to this at a later time, thank you again for tuning in. Again, thank you for joining us, Dave. Diego, thank you so much for hosting the show. And we'll see you back next week for another edition of Social Confos. Bye bye.
Later. Yes. Alright. Hebben jullie genoten? Volgens mij is het klaar.
Ja, wacht even.